What up? What up? What up? Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Get ready to chime in. This is the first edition of First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
My name is Paul B. He is
Hey,
Buddi3 Da Gawd.
hey.
And we are joining you, the chat chimers, or the people that we call our co-hosts on this show as well, for a deep dive and discussion on a lot of the things that's going on in the news. We definitely have some headlines over the last weekend, the last week really, that have been really more relevant to us in our neighborhoods than the rest of Nebraska. So we like to focus on those things. This is Omaha news with an East Side focus. So
Hey.
so you're here to share in this conversation with us, and we really appreciate that. Please tell a friend, tell a friend, tell a friend. Share the show on your page on YouTube. If you're on Facebook, especially, it's easy to share the show there on your page. Get as many voices in as we can and have a deeper discussion. And yeah, get ready to let us know about how your weekend went, and let us know about what's going on this week coming up too. We always talk about the haps. We got special guests coming in this morning. Senators Terrell McKinney, Senator Justin Wayne. We put some respect on their names. They're going to come in, and we'll catch up with them on a few subjects that we've been talking about over the past few weeks. So get your questions ready for them, and also, like I said, get your haps together as well. What you think is important going on in our neighborhoods, in our community, that you think that might help, and or just things that you think might be fun for people to just live alive with one another. So, welcome to the show. Appreciate you very much, buddy. Good morning. How are you?
Hey, I'm all right. Definitely glad to be here. Another day, another day in the life, another morning. So definitely big shout out to everybody who's joining us this morning. You could be anywhere, but you decided to be here with us. So we appreciate you. We love you. We thank you all the same. And yeah, again, a part of the new format here on season 1B, as we're calling it, is to dive right on in at the top of the hour. So again, a big shout out to those who are tuning in a little early, 10 minutes before, so to kind of get the good mornings and everything out the way. But yeah, man, let's go ahead and dive into what's going on in the hood. What's good in the hood, if you will. Some
Yep.
community updates. Again, as we talked about a little bit before the start of the show, definitely hearts, minds, condolences going out to families, man. Multiple families dealing with loss. Of course, the homegoing service of the brothers Crumbly was on Friday. Again, definitely want to give a shout out to Mr. Crumbly, as we know him, Mr. Elmer Crumbly, who was a beloved principal, but also his brother passed. So I just wanted to also, again, acknowledge him as well, Mr. James Oscar Crumbly, as you see on the screen. Again, looks like there was a lot of love being given at the, not just the service itself, but I'm hearing there was standing room only. It was pretty packed at the wake as well. So again, condolences to the families dealing with that loss. But also there was a shooting over the weekend at the I-29, I believe, Speedway. Again, there was supposed to be a car show, the pull-up car show featuring Rich the Factor, Boosie, and another artist, I think Rob 29 or something, a younger artist. But again, that never really came to fruition because apparently there was a shooting at the front of the venue, or from what I'm seeing in comments, actually happened in the parking lot of the venue, and ultimately led to the shutting down of the venue. Of course, things continued at another location, which we'll talk about a little later on in the show. But definitely wanted to at first and at least acknowledge those who lost their lives, the families, the friends, the loved ones who are dealing with those losses. Again, condolences, a heart, mind goes out to them. Again, we usually don't talk about shootings, but gotta dive into that one.
Yeah, rest in peace, Marcus L. Johnson. He was 28, and Charles A. Williams Jr. He was 27.
Yeah, man. Anytime younger than me, it's like, man, so much life still, so much life. But also, definitely want to give some love and some shout outs, some positive things happening in the community as well. Big Mama's food giveaway looks like it was a success. Again, communities, organizations, people coming together to help each other in the face of some tragedy, face of some devastation during, caused by the storms. A lot of people losing food. So again, big shout out. Looks like a lot of people came through. I believe about 250 meals were given out. So success. Yeah, man, success. I also like to hear from any chat chimers that was at the tenants forum that went down over the weekend. Again, still fighting the towers, if you will, and not just the towers, but just for tenants' rights in general, man. Again, Omaha Housing Authority and the scatter sites and the towers are kind of the focus of the conversation right now. But again, we still, years ago it was the Paladinos, and before that it was the situation on Lake at those apartments. Or even at out on 108th at those apartments. So again, there's been several issues where tenants rights have been violated, and we have to know our rights as tenants and got to stand up. So again, big shout out to Brother Hassani Lee, Brother Sherman Wells, Sister Cheryl Weston, everybody who's helping fight the powers that be for housing, because everybody deserves a roof over their head.
Man.
Man, big time, big time. Other than that, again, what's going on with us? Newsletter dropped on Friday, so if you haven't tapped into that, definitely check that out. Again, big shout out to everybody who's already responded and supported. As you see, we do have the weekly wrap newsletter link in the chat, so again, you can check that MailChimp link, sign up, or you can always email us at firstsky.omaha@gmail.com. I did get a comment, somebody asking what is kind of our intention with this, and the name of the game is always dissemination of information. Again, trying to keep those in our community informed, and again, this is one of the many ways that we're hoping to do that moving forward. Again, if you're interested in the mail letter or newsletter, definitely check us out. And if you have an organization or you have some information that you would like to be featured on the newsletter, hit us up. There's ad space opportunities. So yeah, tap in.
Tap in, definitely. And just remember too, this is the weekly wrap, so it does have to do a lot with what we discuss. So you guys are kind of dictating what's going on in this newsletter as well by what it is that you were responding to as far as news is concerned. So we're able to put some of those things in there as well. So you're contributing to the newsletter just by participating on the Monday and Wednesday live show, and also on Friends of First Sky Omaha. So thank you for that. And this will be a more concise place that you can go to and kind of make sure that we're looking at what's important to us in our neighborhoods in the form of a newsletter, in addition to this live that we're doing. So shout out to everybody who support that.
Yep, and also be a great way to keep in touch of what's going on with us internally here at First Sky Omaha. Again, a lot of things happening. New website definitely on the way. Of course, this newsletter, some other content creators camp is still coming back. So again, a lot of exciting things happening. And again, big shout out to everybody who's supporting us. So there you go.
Word up. Thanks for joining us. I see Black Dynamite in the house saying good morning, y'all. Good morning to you.
Hey.
Rose Review says, sorry I'm late. I was embroidering.
Okay.
Making some gear. What you doing, bro?
Yeah, actually, we need to talk to you about that. Me and the mayor had a conversation, man. He's dipping his toe into a couple of things, man. So yeah. Shout out to the mayor, man. Always doing something. Always
doing something. I love it. I love
it. Yeah. Well, go ahead. Let's keep it moving, man. Speaking of that, again, big shout out to everybody who's in the chat, letting your mind be free, letting your voice be heard. Of course, if you're not familiar with the changes of this season, we're focusing on the news here in this first hour. Again, the name of the game is dissemination of information. So we're trying to disseminate as much information as we can. So we'll definitely be focusing on the news and more so delivering what's going on here in the first hour, and then switching in the second hour, moving to more conversation. So again, let your mind be free. Of course, don't be afraid to put your input in the chat if you have it throughout the show, including the first hour. Again, we will acknowledge some comments, especially comments that are relevant or adding to the stories that we're reporting. But again, here we are, First Sky Omaha in the morning. Again, big shout out to all the chat chimers coming through. We do have a lot to talk about today. As Paul mentioned, we will be having the senators come through. It is Monday, of course, so definitely looking forward to that conversation. Still in the mix, in the middle of what's going on with the special session. So definitely looking forward to that update from the senators, but also a few other things going on. Actually, tomorrow, there's a call to action. If you can make it, definitely urging people to make their way to the city council meeting. There's an opportunity for public input on the mayor's budget. Of course, that was a heavy topic of discussion. Again, the mayor issuing her 2025 budget, and of course, police, fire at the top of the list. But what about other services, other needs throughout the city? So we'll definitely talk about that. Also, big shout out to Senator Terrell McKinney. And speaking of what's going on with the city, poverty action plan is definitely something we need to be talking about. Those are one of the things that we always talk about. Lincoln being ahead of Omaha. Again, Lincoln, I believe last year, issuing not only a poverty action plan, but also a housing affordability plan. And now, Omaha getting into the conversation. But again, a lot of poverty in the Omaha area. How to address it? Hopefully, there's a plan coming very soon. Also, as I mentioned, special session is in full swing. Again, looking at what's going on with the property tax situation, but not only property taxes, also looking at what's going on with the funding for schooling, which is a big part of this whole special session conversation, and several other bills being introduced. So again, definitely looking forward to the senators getting their input on how the special session is going thus far. And then also the blue dot is something that's a heavy topic of this conversation, especially everything going on nationally with the presidential race shifting and things getting a little closer, things getting a little tenser. Again, Donald Trump acknowledging that he will debate Kamala Harris on the 10th. But all eyes are still pointing to little old Nebraska. Will it become a winner-take-all state? Will the blue dot prevail again? We shall see. We shall see. So again, all that and more coming up here on the next 2 hours of Fresh Sky Omaha in the morning. Don't touch nothing. Paul, what say you?
Man, just appreciate everybody coming in this morning. Just want to reiterate, please share the show on your page. Let's get as many people in on the conversation as we can. Welcome your comments during the broadcast this morning, and then we'll go into a deep dive on these same subjects after the 8 o'clock hour. So that'll be the hour that we can have a really deep dive discussion. And we appreciate everybody hanging with us the whole time. And if you got to come in and out, that's cool too. You can always check it out in its entirety on YouTube, especially on Facebook as well. But go to YouTube, like and subscribe, do all those good things, and we really appreciate it. And those are the things that we pulled from Friends of First Sky Omaha. Some of the things that are in the news, some of the things you said you wanted us to discuss. So we appreciate that very much. There are other things too, because there's a lot more that's been going on this week. We'll get into it a little bit later on. I'm gonna just throw this up here so you can know what I'm getting ready to start talking about here pretty soon. So. Yeah, this show. Oh, wait. I didn't leave it out.
You ain't ready for this.
You ain't ready for the kangaroo, son. Down. All right. I know that y'all saw it. We have a lot to do. We're definitely gonna talk about the second hour. There's a lot to talk about when it comes to this. I was very excited for the fact that we had breakdancing in the Olympics, and then but I will say, like I said, we'll talk about the second hour, but I will say there was a lot of great performances. We got to talk about how they judge and what the rules are, and how did things happen to where something like that went down? You know what I mean? So it's gonna be the new thing for me every time I'm feeling like I'm coming in faking the funk. This is gonna be the meme right there. This is breakdancing 2024. So. Moving on.
Yeah, thank you for that.
Did y'all see it? You there was a lot of discussion on Friends of First Sky Omaha. There's a lot of discussion all over the place. So yeah,
man.
Like that, I say you saw my post. Yeah, man. There's a lot of discussion on this one over the weekend, and everybody was going through the big range of emotions over this. We went from pride to okay, maybe I don't know what's going on here, and then and then that happened.
All out confusion and disappointment.
But it's and it's deeper than that, man. We might not have it in the next Olympics.
Confusion, disgrace.
Kimmer Stipe says, Lord, period, have, period, mercy, period. That's all I can say when I saw it. Yeah, it was rough, bro. It was rough. It was rough. But for me, it was the attitude. Like, I'm gonna find a picture of her, like in the beginning, like she's getting herself hyped up, just she representing. Come on, bro. The dancing was funny enough, but the whole the swagger that breaking is built on that came
she
from
had it.
No, she thought she did. She thought she did, which was very problematic. To the point where there was like some clips I just can't even watch. Like it just was like. Cheers to you, Olympics. Cheers. Let's take a quick break. We'll be right back. You're listening to First Guy Omaha Radio. First Guy Omaha in the morning. Paul Beeee, Buddi3 Da Gawd, all of you Chad Chimers Ghost listeners, stay tuned. Get your kangaroo on. We'll be right back, y'all. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. You're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio. First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Paul B, Buddi3 Da Gawd, all of you chat chimers, ghost listeners, radio listeners. It's August 12th, 2024. Yeah, man. Moving right along. Fresh edition is happening right now, but we appreciate everybody joining us today. Again, we are live on Mondays and Wednesdays only. We got more stuff we're dropping on Friday. Last Friday, we dropped a new newsletter, so definitely sign up to that.
Yeah, man.
Drop us your email at firstskyOmaha@gmail.com, and let's get the community going. Fight the algorithms,
man. Big time. Fight the algorithms. Yeah.
All right, buddy. What's first on the agenda this morning?
Man, call to action. Call to action tomorrow is going down, and let your mind be free, let your voice be heard. Organizations are calling for people to come to tomorrow's city council meeting to address the budget. Again, the city council has received little public response, according to the Omaha Road Herald, to the mayor's proposed budget. But at least two organizations focused on civic engagement are to participate in the public hearing tomorrow. Again, that's scheduled for Tuesday evening. One of those organizations, Elevate Omaha, is a nonprofit organization that works to increase young people's involvement and leadership in the community, and a grassroots group called Strongly Worded Letters are working together to educate young people about city spending and help them get involved. Members of the groups are planning to testify at Tuesday's hearing. They'll also be there to support other young people who want to speak, and this is definitely huge as we're seeing more and more young people get involved, especially with the proliferation of social media and kind of seeing a cross between politics and social media. The public hearing again is going on tomorrow. Is scheduled for 6:30 p.m. in the legislative chambers of the city county building as 1819 Farnham Street. Again, 1819 Farnham Street in downtown Omaha. If you haven't heard or really caught wind of what the proposed budget is, actually under Mayor Gene Stothard's budget or proposed budget, city funding would actually increase about 5% under the mayor's plan. Stothard submitted about $531 million general fund budget to the city council and made it public on July 23rd. So it's actually been public close to a month. And it would increase again funding by about 5%. The purpose is trimming the city's property tax levy about 3.3%, which again, property tax, as you know, is a huge topic of conversation across the state. So it looks like Mayor Stothard is kind of issuing her own plan. Of course, at the top of the budget is police and fire. The city clerk's office also received no correspondence from the public about the budget. The city's council president, Pete Festerson, said he had received a few postcards about climate change, but little other input from constituents. Again, definitely shout out to Elevate Omaha and Strongly Worded Letters, the two organizations coming together not only to speak on behalf of just the community as a whole, but the young people. Again, urging young people to get involved. About 15 people, mostly young people, participated in an event Sunday to learn about the budget process and how to be involved. And now, again, they will be going and doing the thing, actually going to city council and speaking their mind. So, again, big shout out to those youth and anybody else who's planning on coming through. Again, I definitely would like to see more public input as we're learning less and less opportunities for the public to give input on what's going on at many levels. Again, county, city, state. It seems like those things are becoming fewer and far between as far as opportunities to let your mind be free, let your voice be heard. So again, please show up to that and support, speak your mind.
Most def. I'd love to hear what you'll have to say about that. If you guys have looked through it, I know that we usually have chat chimers sometimes that comb through that budget, see what's going on. So if you have, please let us know. I'd love to hear some highlights from that and see what that's all about as well. So appreciate that very much. I see Gwen Easter in the chat. Give us a good morning. Good morning to you. I appreciate you coming in this morning.
Yeah, top of the morning. Again, if you have any input or if anybody has looked through that plan, definitely, let your mind be free, let your voice be heard. Jump into the chat. Also, though, that's not the only thing going on with the city. Again, definitely looking forward to speaking to Senator Terrell McKinney, who was a part of issuing this legislation to get this passed. But, again, as I mentioned, fire, police at the top of Mayor Stothard's budget. But what about the little guy? What about the average Omahan? Again, talking about those struggling with poverty. And there is a poverty elimination action plan. That is the full name. And Omaha is finally working on that, looking to sign a deal with experts at UNO this week who have insight into who is struggling locally, with poverty. Based on years of studies, this includes people reintegrating into society after prison. Again, talking about recidivism, something that we've been working closely with. The city of Omaha is looking to finalize this deal with UNO's Nebraska Center for Justice Research this week. The biggest challenge, according to Ryan Spoon, who's the director of UNO's Nebraska Center for Justice Research, is probably just housing, as he says. He went on to say, we want them to become productive citizens. And if you're couch surfing, if you don't have a place to live, you can think about how difficult it is to hold down a job under those circumstances. The plan is part of the legislature's Poverty Elimination Action Plan, which passed this year. UNO's decade-long study shows people coming out of prison run into insecurities ranging from food to housing. They may just have about $50 and a shirt on their backs when they come out. And also, food insecurity is becoming a much larger problem. Housing insecurity is becoming a much larger problem. And with the economy and the situation that it is, not really looking like any reprieve is coming anytime soon. So again, Paul, I know that you've kind of heard these stories closely as we're working on this documentary with the Metro Community College and the 180 Reentry Rap Program. But again, can you kind of speak to that, how people are being impacted by coming out of incarceration and just trying to make ends meet, man, struggling through poverty?
Yeah, most people, you know how it is out here. Even now, if you're not incarcerated, if you're
Man.
just out and about, you need a job. You got to know people. You got to be in a community, usually in order to move in that space. And if you have been locked away, then you don't have that anymore. And a lot of times, you don't even have your family support. So, I've been talking to a lot of folks that are just coming out that appreciate these new programs like the 180 Rap program so much because they feel like they wouldn't have been able to make it without it because you come out, you get support to go to find a job. Sometimes you get support to find housing. In some of the programs, the deeper programs like the Life program, that the ones that I'm doing a film on now, they kind of help you all the way around. They help you with
Mhm.
the needs that you have. If you need transportation money, if you need food, if you need supplies, if you need to just get by, if you need to find housing. It's a very complete way to be able to help. So I really applaud like Senator McKinney and the other people, Diane Good Collins, for instance, over at Metro, that are really putting this at the forefront and saying, listen, let's attack this thing. We've been saying this like now for a couple of years. We've been online on air talking about poverty being the reason for a lot of the things that's going on, crime and
Mhm. Mhm.
all these other things being the reason. If somebody doesn't have a
Education.
kind of a plan for this, then then we're going to be stuck in the same situation, just repeating everything. So the efforts, this to me feels like people who are approaching the problem where it starts, where it started
Yeah.
from. And so yeah, so as far as I'm concerned, I think it's some of the best work that can happen right now. I'm thinking of the BAA, Black Agenda Alliance. I'm thinking of Untamed. I'm thinking of people that work with people directly to try to keep them out of those kinds of situations. And if they're in, still support and support families around it. Yeah, lots to it. Lots to
Yeah,
it.
man. Yeah, it's the holistic approach. It's the holistic approach. I'm thinking of a couple things actually. As you were talking, one of which is being just how I understood recidivism and people getting out of jail. The reality, especially if you're on like parole or probation, a lot of people feel like you get thrown out, you get put on probation. It's like find a job or go back to jail, and a lot of people, due to all the reasons we're discussing, end up going back.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. But to your point of addressing where it starts, it is very interesting. How do people get into that cycle to begin with? And like you said, the family, we were learning that, especially dealing with youth. And it is actually interesting that this article from KETV acknowledges that not only are, formerly incarcerated brothers and sisters dealing with poverty, but actually, according to Wes Peterson, who's a UNL agricultural economist, he says that today the biggest poverty problems in the United States are actually among children. The elderly are no longer one of the groups. Social Security has pretty much fixed the poverty problem among the elderly, which you might have to talk about that.
Mhm.
But again, among children, apparently data states that poverty is worse, and especially several years removed from the pandemic, which we know had a huge economic impact on a lot of families. You kind of think, which direction are we going? With children dealing with poverty, it tends to state that they struggle through school and struggle and kind of end up behind bars. That's just how the data shows it. So, again, addressing the youth, addressing the family, addressing the home first, and make sure that situation is whole is definitely a big part. So again, that's kind of why we're here where we are in the North Omaha area as far as the ARPA funds and what's going on with the
Mhm.
Inland Port Authority and all these conversations, housing, all of these things are just tentacles to the bigger conversation of addressing poverty and making sure the whole family is whole, really.
Big
So
time, big time. Kimber in the chat says she says I talked to the mayor and Chief Warren about poverty action plan. Planning to get with Senator McKinney about it this week.
okay.
Yeah, I really look forward to having him on the show today and talk a little bit about that too. This is something that we've been talking about for the past couple of weeks. I think, well, not us, but you guys actually have been talking about this poverty action plan, bringing it up. What's the plan? There's a lot of questions behind it. When I think poverty action plan, I'm thinking it's got to be comprehensive, man.
Man,
There's
man.
a lot to that, and how do you even attack that? So I'm a great admirer of Senator McKinney and others who have who are thinking these things through,
Mhm.
completely in the way that they are. So
Man.
yeah, can't wait to talk about it.
Takes a lot of thought. Takes a lot of thought. But there is also a call to action on this because not only tomorrow will there be a discussion over the budget, but also this plan. The agreement for a plan is up for public hearing on Tuesday at 2 p.m. at Omaha City Hall. So again, if you can make that, definitely urge you to at least check it out, hear what's being discussed. Again, that's 2 p.m. at City Hall tomorrow. So public input is welcomed.
Right on.
There you go. There you go.
Sounds
So
good. 7:27 right now. If you believe in the concept of time, if you're just joining us, this is First Sky Omaha in the morning.
in the morning.
Paul B, Buddi3 Da Gawd. This is our
Hey.
7 o'clock broadcast. We appreciate everybody that's chiming in. If there's any of these subjects that you want to discuss a little bit further, we're going to reintroduce them again on the second hour, so we can get into a little bit deeper dive discussion on all those things. And again, if you've been able to check out that action plan or Mayor Stother's budget, if you looked through that at all, I would love to hear from you firsthand about some of the things that you saw on it, and we can talk about in the second hour as well.
Amen.
Kimmer says it's going to start with an assessment, talking about the action plan. Omaha Human Rights and Relations Department are in charge of it.
Okay.
Okay, and I see a
Okay.
kind of a sad face there at the end of that thing there, so that doesn't encourage, that doesn't inspire
No, no.
confidence.
Doesn't breed excitement. Nah, no, not at
No,
all. Not at
okay.
all. Not at all.
Well,
So
the studies and studies and studies, right?
yeah,
Assessments all the time, I guess. We'll
more
see.
of them, more of them. And I just wonder um, how willing and eager will your everyday Omahans, be willing to, go along with those assessments. I'm thinking of how the bureau, I'm drawing a blank. It's every 10 years.
Census.
Yes, thank you, the Census Bureau, and how communities, not everybody fills it out, not everybody's, and when you really think about it, that census data is kind of used to make these poverty plans and to know who's where and where what economic status they have and those things. So again, very very interesting to see how this will play out. And to your point, I definitely hope it is comprehensive. But again, everybody has the opportunity to chime in tomorrow at 2 p.m. So there you go. There you go.
All right. If you have any more information on that, please put it in Friends of First Sky Omaha so everybody can get that. And if we find some documentation there, we'll put it there as well. So appreciate it very much. I see Marlon Harrison coming on in. He said he overslept. What I missed so far? Well, you missed it all.
Man, yeah, you missed the whole show.
We did like $100,000 giveaway. We did all kinds of things.
Gave away a car.
Man,
Yeah,
washer and dryer.
no, but you can always catch the replay on First Sky Omaha on Facebook and YouTube. Again, big shout out to everybody who's tuning in. But we're about 30 minutes into the first hour. Let's go ahead and take a quick break. Smell the coffee beans. And when we come back, I do want to continue the conversation about what's going on in the city because Senator McKinney's taking things into his own hands. He's not only issuing the poverty action plan and forcing the city to come up with a plan, but he has his own plan in the form of the Inland Port Authority. Again, that is legislation that came together, 300 or so acres under the authority of the board. Who again, Senator McKinney is the chair of that board, and now there'll be some opportunity for the community to get involved. So we'll be talking about that and more on the other side of the break. 30 minutes into the hour, but don't touch nothing. We're here for a little longer.
Stay tuned. First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Be right back, y'all. Welcome back. You're listening to First Guy Omaha in the morning. Paul B, Buddi3 Da Gawd. Want to give a shout out to Drunk Ship Coffee for sponsoring the show, sponsoring the channel, sponsoring our efforts. They've been doing pretty good for us here lately. A black-owned family who decided they were going to figure out how to get into the coffee game.
Man.
And they've been sourcing beans from one farm in Ethiopia, which we found out is the birthplace of coffee. We always like to highlight. And yeah, man, they got a very superior roast. And yeah, you can get your beans here at Drunk Ship Coffee. Definitely get you a grinder, because that's the best way to get your coffee is whole beans, so you can know exactly what's being ground up in it. And yeah, man, very tasty blend here. So yeah, shout out to them. Go to drunkshipcoffee.com and order your bags, order your shirts, whatever it is you need as well. And shout out to them for sponsoring the channel as well. If you or your business want to sponsor the channel, let us know. Hit us up at firstskyOmaha@gmail.com. There's going to be some more opportunities, especially now that we have the newsletter out. The weekly wrap is coming, be dropping on Fridays, and we'll be wrapping up what was going on in the news and talking about what's coming up in the news, and being able to highlight what's going on with First Guy Omaha and the community at large. So shout out to everybody who already signed up for this, and everybody who's already helped sponsor it as well. So appreciate it very much.
Thank you.
We're back. It's a 7:32. If you believe in the concept of time, don't forget we got the Senators Terrell McKinney and Justin Wayne coming on in shortly. So don't go anywhere on that. Make sure that you stick around and get your questions ready there. I see Maggie Miller Jenkins in the chat. She says, "Can you petition for the city council to meet at an hour that would allow more people to attend? 2 p.m. during a school week seems intentional."
Man.
Yeah, we talk about this all the time. Yeah, who's able to not be at work and can go to these things? It does feel very intentional sometimes. So
that part, kids can't even make it, and they're still at school.
Man, Mr. Snipes in the chat says that without consistent engagement organizing, most of these surveys are going to go down the drain. And it also is like who's doing these surveys as well. My question.
Yeah, it's a good question.
Kimber's got another call to action. Come to the library today between 12 and 2 or 4 and 6 and take my survey. Okay. Because you'll be entered into a drawing to win a free smart TV. You're really giving away some stuff.
Okay.
The link is in First Guy page as well. What's the survey about? What are we being surveyed for? Let us know about that.
She says it here.
I'm asking questions about Highway 75, traffic safety, and the North Omaha Trail. Okay. Bringing up some good stuff.
Yeah. I honestly wonder if that has anything to do with the land back situation. Again, we talked about the Winnebago tribe getting some of their land back.
Love that.
Yeah, we've discussed on this show the impact that the eminent domain situation had. They used eminent domain, wiped out a large portion of the community just to create that freeway straight through our community. So again, definitely looking forward to see how that comes forward. Sister Kimra, and if you have any more information on that, please let us know. Or if you have a link for, as she says, the link is on First Guy page as well. So maybe you can drop that in the chat if you can, for those who can't make it.
Please do. I see Marlon Harrison in the chat said he ran into Brother Sherman Wells. I did see that. I saw that on Friends of First Guy Omaha. Yeah. Always good to see Friends of First Guy Omaha, chat chimers and partners getting together, hanging out. This was a big deal. This was this back to school thing was bigger than I thought it was going to be. So
yeah, man. Yeah, it looked like it went off in a real way, man. And a lot of organizations came together for that, man. So big shout out. I think Sister Tamika was out there with NOCP. A couple of other heads was out there. So yeah. Shout out.
There you go. Right on. I appreciate it. Kimmer's, before we get on to the next story here, she says Luis Jimenez is starting a petition regarding the ordinance targeting Juanita Johnson.
Okay.
So people are still hot about this thing that they're trying to do, this thing that just got passed 6-1, where they want to try to control people's behavior in the city council. And, it's directed to Councilwoman Juanita Johnson. Put some respect on her name. A lot of people are feeling that. So shout out to the people that are trying to battle that as well. So, yeah, we'll keep you updated when we find out what's happening there.
Yeah, and remember, they're trying to push. That's not it. They're trying to push on the ballot also to have the power to remove, or not just reprimand, and not just kind of wave the finger for code of conduct, but actually vote out council members, completely overriding the will of the people, if you will. So
that's the biggest thing, because I feel like they're asking some reasonable stuff. They want people to show up to the job, so on and so forth. The problem is, how do you How do you police that?
Man.
And I don't feel like it should be police because these are elected officials. There's already something built in here called the election. We can
Hmm.
we can elect somebody else if they're not showing up and doing their job or being problematic or whatever the deal is. Let the people decide. So anyway, yeah. Shout out to everybody who's on that tip and keeping up with that and defending Miss Juanita Johnson
Big
in
time.
particular. Yeah.
Thank you, thank you. But again, speaking of the people being in control and speaking what they want to happen. Again, we're still looking at what's going on with this Inland Port Authority because that's the whole idea. That's what it's supposed to be. Again, after the whole situation with the DED, which a lot of people in the community are still dealing with, us included, and the senators, the senators basically said that nah, they were not happy with how that whole situation played out as we talked to him over the years. Now, I've asked several times, has the way the bill, talking about again the North and South Omaha Recovery Act, the way that bill has played out, hasn't been anywhere close to how the drafters of the bill envisioned it. And no, according to the senators, it has not, which caused them to pivot and create this Inland Port Authority, which itself has been wrapped up in some controversy. But this is something that the people should definitely be notified on. Again, this is the opportunity for the Community Advisory Committee to the Inland Port Authority. Again, for those who don't understand how this whole Port Authority board is being structured, there's actually two boards. Again, or really a board and a committee, if you will. But the board that is kind of the main board, which was appointed by the mayor, that has already been created. I do know, again, Senator Terrell McKinney has been elected as the chair. That's what he informed us last week. I do believe also Sister Carmen Tapio is on that board as well as a few other officials under Mayor Gene Stothard's staff. But this is the big part. The community input committee is definitely the one that we should all be paying close attention to. Again, this is supposed to be the advisory committee to the Inland Port Authority that, again, advises and keeps the authority basically accountable and make sure that they are aware and sticking to what the people, what the community wants. And there is an opportunity for those who are interested. The application window is now open. The committee will consist of at least two owners of residential property. So again, if you own a property located within the Inland Port Authority district, you can be on the board. Also, if you are a business owner within the Inland Port Authority district, again, two business owners located within that jurisdiction, and also a member of the city council where whose district falls in that Inland Port district. So I believe that's Juanita Johnson, but not sure. A member of the legislature whose legislative district is in the Inland Port Authority as well. It will also include a youth representative or someone closely involved with youth in the community. So there is an opportunity to have a lot of people involved. But even in the language, as you see, it is kind of jumping out to me. Very interesting that, again, either a property owner or a business owner, which again urges us to, reminds us of the power and ownership in our community, not just a tenant, again, business owner, property owner in the area can make these decisions and be a part of this community board. So again, very interesting. We'll see how this plays out. Reminding people that this whole Inland Port Authority, it governs about 300 or so acres surrounding kind of the airport, Levi Carter Lake area. So again, it's kind of hard to just really fathom in your mind without seeing a map how wide of a span 300 acres really is.
Mm.
Yeah, but I'm sure a pretty good corner of North Omaha falls within this jurisdiction, especially the 16th, 24th area. So again, definitely looking forward to having more input from Senator McKinney, who drafted the bill, and Senator Wayne, who drafted the bill. But again, those who are interested, there's been a lot of chatter in the community. What say you? What say you?
It's a good question. I will say that at least not at least. I'm glad that there's this committee that's being put together because as Kimera is talking about with the 75 North Freeway, back in the day they just used to go ahead and just knock your house out, take
Man,
eminent domain, and do what they wanted to do, and didn't sound like there was a whole lot of a community tapping into the community and letting the community be part of that decision back then. So this is the thing I feel like that is happening. I'm gonna throw this map up here real quick to just see kind of the area you kind of if you can recognize without looking at detail exactly where we're at here in North Omaha. People that are in North Omaha see this, know exactly where the river is at on the right side there and so on. But this is the big swath of what's going on. A lot of streets in here,
Yeah, man.
a lot of residential streets you can see that are going to be affected here. So the fact that they're not just coming in, the fact that the senators put this in place, that you you got to talk to the people here, even if like you said, the language is saying homeowners, business owners, so on and so forth. True, but there's other people in the community there too. But elected officials, homeowners, business owners are going to be kind of on this committee, and so I'm just hoping that those folks talk to the people, especially the ones that are living in the area that are
Man.
scared about eminent domain. You know, yeah, I'm trying to be positive about it because that got put in place. So hopefully we were wondering like how much power that committee is going to have. We'll see.
Hmm. And really, when I think about that community advisory board and how it's made up, I'm thinking of those who are in that Levi Carter area community neighborhood association. If any of those get on the board, then that airport business park project is pretty much done for.
Mm,
That's how I'm feeling. It's already not looking good. It's already not looking good for the business park plan. Again, they it was reported last week. And again, OEDC and Burlington came
yeah.
together and issued a letter of support from the board, and that was like one of the first moves of the board at their inaugural meeting was to deny that letter of support.
Wow.
So yeah, again, it looks like they. I mean, I understand that move. I appreciate that move. I support that move. It looks like the board will do its job, or at least is trying to do the right thing with the authority that they've been granted, and definitely am excited and eager to see how this community advisory board, because I feel like that's going to really make or break the whole project. Um, so yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Definitely apply, y'all. Or if you know somebody who you think will be good, let them know. The window is open.
Excuse me, Anthony Rogers Wright joining us this morning. Good morning in the chat. Reflecting what it is that I'm feeling like. He says, "What actual power does the committee have, though? They certainly don't have veto power, so that needs to be named. It's just like the police oversight board, window dressing, and cosmetic. I think it's a little bit stronger than that this time around. I tend to feel that way too about any time they're
Mhm.
gonna put a committee together that you got no votes for. But so I'm kind of surprised, buddy, what you saying. Like if somebody from that neighborhood gets on the board, you think the whole thing will get shut down. Uh,
Well, I'm talking about the airport business park project.
oh, the park project, got it. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't see them, being eager to let that go through, especially
But
without
but
the
how
way it's
much
going.
power? But even those people in the neighborhoods, how much power do they have to stop it? Is the question. You know,
Yeah, again, it's an advisory board, so
they're just supposed to be giving advice.
yeah, yeah, which you can take or you can leave on the table. But I'm more enthused by Senator McKinney and his leadership, and
Yeah.
being the one who drafted the bill, and kind of being the board chair as well. I feel like he will kind of be a part of steering the ship in the way that he intended it to be when the bill was drafted. So that's definitely kind of what I'm hanging my hat on. Other than that, I really don't know. I have never spoken to Sister Carmen Tapio. I don't really know really any of the other officials that are on the board. I believe they're a part of Mayor Gene Stotter's staff. Again,
Mhm.
we've yet to see who's going to be on the advisory board. So, yeah, really, all we have to hold on to tangibly right now is Senator McKinney. But over the years, I've seen the work that he's done. I've seen his integrity, and I'm hanging with the brother.
Bro, that's the only thing give me hope about the committee is that he's the one on it and is the chair.
Man, man, yeah,
Kimber,
yeah.
Kimber says, I agree with Anthony. Advisory boards typically don't have any sort of voting power or authority. They're here strictly for the name to advise. Miss Erica Feld in the chat. Good morning.
Hey,
She says, good morning. I worry that only those people who would lean towards the mayor will be chosen for the committee. I've been on a free advisory boards and ended up removing myself due to not being heard.
hmm.
Man, Kimber says, Buddy has a point. With Terrell as chair of the board, he has the authority to listen to the advisory board and make decisions based off of their advice.
Yeah, I mean, he's running on people power. Like, if he would get to this point and not listen to the people, I'll be surprised. I'll
Yeah,
be
but
surprised.
that's his whole style. So I mean, you're right. It would be a surprise for sure.
Right, right, right,
Yeah.
right. So,
Appreciate everybody's comments on this. We'll come back and talk about this a little bit later after the break as well. And stay tuned. Senator Terrell McKinney, Senator Justin Wayne will be joining us here shortly. Stay tuned for that. Get your questions ready for them. I can't wait to talk to them about this thing too, man. I really think that this is a significant. This piece right here. How much power does the committees have? Is kind of the question. We know that that by way of what they're considered an advisory committee, they don't have a lot of power, but they got a lot of influence. They may have a lot of influence. How is that going to pan out? So let's talk about it when we come back from the break. Stay tuned. You're listening to First Guy Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
I'll be Buddi3 Da Gawd. We'll be right back, y'all. Welcome back. First Guy Omaha Radio, First Guy Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
So I'm getting ready to practice my breakdancing moves a little later on.
Come on, man. You already told me you used to get down back in the day, man. You might as well dust off that cardboard. Come on, man.
Bro. I did read this morning that she got 0 points though. for every part of the competition. So did y'all watch the Olympics? Did y'all see the breakdancing competition? The legendary first time ever in the Olympics breakdancing competitions that went down. I was highly disappointed in a few things, and I gotta say, it's beyond. This woman is like the poster child for it, for a whole bunch of different reasons, right? Yeah. But there were actually really great performances by a lot of the women breakdancers, and the male category was last too. They had some pretty great performances there as well. It wasn't a battle though, man. Like, I don't know. I don't know, man. I really thought about it because I used to be a breaker back in the day. So I really thought about it, and I thought, like, why am I so mad about what's going on here? Man, and it's beyond her. It's beyond her. I'm questioning the rules that they set up for this. Back in the day, we used to all battle. It wasn't women versus women, men versus men. There was women that took me out in battles back in the day. Man, it's about the moves, man. They all should have been battling each other, whoever's best. Who is judging? Who judges? The other thing was like, I would hear the commentator say stuff and be like, "What? Like, who made up that rule that this is now a thing you're going to, a piece of this you're going to judge?" Like, it made me realize that we had our own judgment system on who did what was fresh back. You know what I'm saying? Like, it don't seem like they consulted nobody like that. Like where's Crazy Legs in them at? Where's, you know what I'm saying? Where Houston Alexander at? The people that actually break, like they can actually judge what's good and what ain't good. Where they at?
Call Turbo.
Man, call Turbo. Call Ozone. You can't call Ozone no, but we call Turbo. He's still around. Man. So anyway, yeah, this is unfortunate, and then with her in particular, her whole the representation is just. Maggie Miller Jenkins said, "This event made me so sad." She says they gave us a moment, then mocked us inside of it. The disappointment was bone deep. Man, I went through the whole range of emotions. I feel like I went through that too. I really appreciate you saying that, because that was kind of, I was just like, I was hyped, like proud that this was happening, and then it started, and I was like, "Say what?" So, and you know, you're saying it felt like they mocked us. I don't really feel like that. I just feel like it's the same thing that happens. Black people come up with stuff. White folks decide they're going to dig in and figure out scientifically how it's done, and so they can study it. And then the interpretation after the study is just not ever going to be authentic. It's never going to be what it started out being when it was invented. I think there was a place for white culture to come in and study something and break it down and figure things out and call it a science. But I don't think that they need to be representing that when they figure it out. Man, that's my problem with that's my problem with kangaroo lady here. That's the thing. It wasn't even. I'm gonna find another picture because it's not even the moves. It's the attitude. It's the attitude. It's it's her. It's the coming in like get out of here with that. Go to Brooklyn and do that and see how well that's gonna get. Yeah, man. So anyway, I had to meet with myself this morning to decide that I was not going to make the whole show be about this breakdancing competition. So let me pull back again.
Yeah. I see you struggling.
We got other news.
I'm saving my comments for the second hour. I have some comments. I'll save them for the second hour. But yeah.
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, take a breather, Paul.
Well, hey, look. It made me so mad. I was in the kitchen getting ready to try to do something again. Like, let me spin on my. Let me see if I can still spin on my head. No, I'm good. I'm gonna break my neck.
I mean, even if you came, apparently you can still make it to the Olympics.
I would have got a bigger score than that. Let's move on. Anthony Rogers, right? One more comment. It says, let's please not sleep on the contribution the Puerto Ricans had to breakdancing and hip hop. We don't erase our Boricuan family and the key role they played in the invention of hip hop. For real.
Oh yeah.
Where was they at? Bro? That's what I'm saying, man. Crazy Legs and them. They was Puerto Rican cats. They was where's there was a young Mexican girl that was representing U.S. that I thought was dope. And I felt like she got robbed. I wasn't just mad at the performances. I was mad at the set of rules. How they being judged? Who's the judge? I don't even know who them judges are.
Man,
I need to know who made up the criteria for points. I need to know all this.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it
Yeah.
later.
I'm trying to save my comments because that will dominate the whole show once we get started, man. So I'm gonna hold back.
I'd love to see the scientific form for Australian performance. What the chart code for kangaroo? Can't read you tripping. All right. Moving on. It's 7:53 right now. If you believe in the concept of time, let's jump into something else right before our special guest, Senator Terrell McKinney, Senator Justin Wayne, come on in, buddy. Where we at?
Man, again, so I am. We're gonna get into this whole breaking situation in a second, but we definitely got to set up for the senators. Definitely want to just give an update. We won't really have to dive too deep into what's going on with the special session, but this is something that we've been keeping a close eye on, and it has been moving. It has been changing, especially since we've been on last week. Apparently, there's been like two different moves or updates to the plan. Again, the Nebraska legislature actually delayed debate on property tax. That's according to Omaha Road Herald. The property tax reduction plan Thursday, while key lawmakers negotiate furiously in hopes of winning enough votes to get something passed. Lawmakers started the day expecting the Revenue Committee to advance a revised version of Governor Pillen's property tax plan. So debate could start Friday, but again, that was pushed back, and the debate is expected to start back up this week. Actually, the committee voted to push back twice as staff scrambled to draft amendments, and multiple groups of lawmakers discussed about possible changes. The day actually ended with a motion from State Senator Lou Ann Linehan of the Omaha area to adjourn until Monday afternoon. So again, things will pick back up this afternoon. The motion passed on a vote of 33-11, meaning lawmakers will not hold their planned Friday and Saturday sessions, and also means Tuesday is the earliest lawmakers could start debating a property tax proposal that assumes the committee will approve a plan by midday Monday, which Linehan vowed to do. She actually went on to say every senator will be working this weekend. They may not be working in the building, but they will be working. Linehan also said she asked for the additional time to negotiate with numerous people who have told her they could vote for the evolving property tax proposal if it incorporated various changes. She said the time is needed to figure out the impact of those changes and whether they would ultimately gain or lose votes from the plan. But ultimately, the goalpost has kind of shifted for Governor Pillen. If you remember early, he stated that his whole plan was to have a 50% reduction of property taxes, which would have actually been the largest reduction in state history. But that has since kind of gone down to about 35%, something a little more realistic. But even still, there's a lot of debate, a lot of discussion, a lot of disagreement about which direction the state should go and hanging in the balance are our tax dollars, are how we're going to be taxed, how our dollars are going to be spent. Again, a big portion of this is the whole funding formula for education, K through 12. Will the state take it over? Will local districts remain in power? We'll see. We'll definitely see. And also, in the back of this is the whole sin tax situation. So we could be seeing everyday goods go up as well, on top of inflation, which has already caused things to go up. So again, a lot of things impacting us on our daily lives, hanging in the balance.
There you go. Let us know if you have any more comments about this particular subject, or better yet, what kind of questions we can formulate for the senators
Senators.
on
Yeah.
about this. Yep. And they will be on shortly. So shout out to them for all these things. Man, this property tax thing has been going on for a while. This is the
Yeah.
ups and downs here. I just read a headline. I think it was this morning or last night that Pillen's been pushing back on the criticism.
Oh yeah. He's gonna puff up and stick his chest out a little bit. Again, has not received a lot of support for his whole plan. Again, school districts, mayors, senators, business owners, just about everybody is really kind of chiming up and chiming up against this situation. So again, we'll definitely see how it plays out, but it does not look like it has gone to plan of Governor Pillen. And in the meantime, we're paying for it. Tax dollars are paying to keep these doors open.
Right.
So
Yeah, interesting stuff. Let us know if you have any comments there. I'll leave them. Definitely put them in the chat. Put them in Friends of First Sky Omaha. I appreciate everybody who's paying attention to this one as well. It's one of those things that's very there's a lot of pieces to it.
yeah,
I heard one good report that tried to sum it all up, but there's a lot of pieces to it, and ultimately it's easy to get confused about what it is that everybody wants the property taxes to be lower, but everybody's somewhat confused about how he's asking for it, what these new plans are that are people are trying to put in place. Fortunately, we've had the senators come on and explain some things to us about the process and about what it is that they feel is wrong with it, and their solutions to it as well. Who I don't know many people who are even coming up with other plans to supplement what's going on there. So shout out to the senators for being able to come up with other plans as well, and reasonably so. It's reasonable to believe, if you really want to talk about how to do this, let's figure out where other money can come from,
man.
not just shift funds around.
Yeah, like releasing some inmates, which is weighing on the tax dollars. The state's still paying for that. State's
Damn.
paying for that. Some of these inmates are also marijuana. The
Right.
legalization of marijuana is definitely a huge topic. So yeah, again, a lot of just everyday life things for us hanging in the balance, and could go either direction with the situation. So again, if you have any questions for the senators, your opportunity to ask those questions coming up in a few. But before we close out this block, I did want to kind of double back to the Inland Port Authority situation and just remind people again that application window is something that is open, but eventually it will close. Again, the applications must be submitted by 4:30 p.m. on Friday, August 30th. Again, you have until 4:30 p.m. on Friday, August 30th to submit your application for the Inland Port Authority Community Advisory Committee.
That's what's up.
There you go.
Right on. Yeah, let us know if you're gonna participate in that too. That's kind of something that we probably should have did a little call to action for.
Yeah,
Help
man.
people, jump into that one as well. So let us know
Got you.
if you're doing that, if you know about any other groups doing that. If anybody can team up on that, that'd be awesome. So right on, it's 8 o'clock right now. If you believe in the concept of time, we really appreciate everybody that's joined us and contributed to the conversation thus far. The broadcast, our 7 o'clock broadcast. Just a reminder, what we do is get on now about 10 minutes early so we can say hello, how you doing to some of the friends of First Sky Omaha, the chat chimers that come in early to say hi, so we can start a hard 7 o'clock for a news broadcast, and that's the format now. In the 8 o'clock hour now, we do a lot more discussion. We can loosen things up and kind of revisit some of the things that we talked about in the first hour, and get into a deeper discussion on that, which is what this show is all about. So shout out to everybody that's hung with us this far and is going to decide to hang with us even further. Do us a favor, share the show, get as many people in on the conversation as we can. And this is the time to get your thoughts out on all those things. So we appreciate that very much. And we'll take a quick break and we'll come right back. Again, you're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
I'll be Buddi3 Da Gawd. Stay tuned. Senators coming up shortly. Be right back, y'all. morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Yeah, man, having a good discussion, having a lively discussion today about a lot of things that are in the news for sure. Appreciate that. I appreciate you joining us now on the second hour of First Sky Omaha in the morning. So we can have a little bit more discussion about some of these things that we've been talking about. And I promise I'm not going to talk about the breaking lady this whole time. Not going to do it. Not going to do it. Kimber in the chat says she's headed to the Democratic National Convention next week.
Okay.
You in a different party now, though, ain't you? You still
can you do that?
An independent go? Yeah, of course everybody can go. That's what's up. I'd love to hear your thoughts and read your notes and stuff from that particular experience. What makes you want to go? What makes you want to do?
Yeah.
Love that. Anthony Rogers right in the chat. Good morning. Is saying this is where socialism comes into play, y'all. It makes me suspect that Senator Wayne refers to himself as a John Kennedy Democrat. I haven't heard that term in a minute. That sounds a lot like a capitalist who subscribes to non-liberal economic theory, which is extensive and never helps poor and the rest of it and working people. Okay, don't give us the whole thing on this thing when you pull it up. I see.
Yeah.
Okay, I hear you. I hear some of the concerns there. Definitely bring that up. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we'll definitely talk about that. Maybe there's a question we can form there for Senator Wayne if he comes on.
That's my thoughts.
Mm-hmm. Appreciate that very much. Brother Knight in the chat. Good morning. He says, hopefully that poor spectacle of breakdancing shows why Black people need to guard all aspects of our culture that we create. Yeah. Like I said, man, wide range of emotions on that thing. And it is not just about the breakdancing and about the Olympics. It is about the culture. That's what's concerning all of us. What's concerning all of us. Pops said something to me. He said something the other day too. I think he put it in Friends of First Sky Omaha. He was like, I knew as soon as it was going to the Olympics that this was going to be an issue. Who's taking it over? Who's the officials there? So yeah, I want to also shout out Miss Erica Felt. I said a Mexican lady earlier, but it was she's actually a Filipina. So logistics Filipina from Chula Vista, San Diego. That's what's up on the West Coast. Laotians and Filipinos were breaking since about 82. Her dad and uncle were breakers. That's dope.
Man, that's dope.
Got a little background on her. She was dope, and I was very disappointed actually that she lost to somebody, or somebody. Let me get this. I'm trying to get this thing out the way. Somebody, I can't remember who was that won her competition, but I saw her moves like, oh, she's a real breaker.
Yeah, man,
she's a real breaker. And the fact she was also representing, she was representing America here. So I actually was very, very excited to see other countries embracing and showing and doing what they had to do, doing their moves. There's a lot of people, for a lot of years after the early days, for a lot of years, there was a lot of great breakers that came out of Russia. Russia had a huge breaking scene.
Man,
all through the 90s. All through the 90s, they were the best breakers in the world.
Really?
Yes. So we went there, it's not like I was like, we can't let this go outside of America. We can't let this go outside of Brooklyn. You know what I'm saying? Like it wasn't like that, because it already hit the world stage, worldwide competitions. And there was people all over. There's people in Japan that have been dominating, people in
Korea.
Russia. But they were representing. You felt proud when you watched them like take moves that you saw, early days happen, and then they expanded those and they did their thing and they added some stuff to it, and it was all in the spirit of how Black folks invented it. It didn't feel like that this time around. So
no. Breaking is a global thing. Like it's yes, it started in New York, but it's a global thing. It has been for a while. So yeah, like to the level that it was represented, the brand of breaking that they put on the global stage is very because there's better brands already on the global stage.
That's what I'm trying to say, right?
Yeah, like the Red Bull competition it's still deeply rooted within the hip hop and breaking culture. Like, and the Red Bull competition is a national breaking competition. Like you said, there's breakers from all over the world, from all corners of the world that really represent. So I'm I'm kind of surprised this is the best even Australia has to offer. Like I feel like they're
Oh, I know there's some breakers in Australia.
yeah, I know some cats that get down in Australia. Like I don't know why, that's what came, but
But
again, very interesting.
this professor of cultural
Man, a doctor.
movement, this doctor of cultural movement was not it. And this is a picture that represents the reason why I was so upset with her. Like, all right, come in and do your little corny moves. That's cool, but like, you don't come in here with all this.
Bravado.
I'm hip hop, yeah. Anyways, Saved by the Bell. We got Senator McKinney waiting in the wings. We're gonna and bring him on before I go all the way off the rest of the show about this breakdancing competition. But without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, Senator Terrell McKinney in the house. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, everybody. How y'all doing?
Good, brother.
Doing
How you
good.
doing?
I'm good.
All right. How you feeling this morning?
I'm good, man. Just dropped my daughter off at school, and she just started high school, so I'm trying to get that morning drives.
Wow.
Yeah. Where's she at? She's a Viking.
I wish I tried to get her. She wouldn't do it, bro. That's where I want her to be.
Yeah,
But
Wait.
we
Kids
know.
Kids got a choice now. Kids got a choice on where to go.
her and her mom outvoted me.
Oh,
My vote. It was a 2-1 vote.
dang. Where she end up going?
She at West Side.
Okay.
Her mom live out that way, so it was. I live by North. She lived by West Side, so that's how it happened.
Yeah.
Man, okay. Well, at least she's getting education. Definitely, excited for her. All the babies going back to school. Let's kind of start there. Like, how are you feeling with how education is looking? Of course, education is a big, topic of discussion in the special session in Lincoln. But as the babies going back to school, what are you thinking about this school year? What are you expecting? More of the same or some improvements?
I mean, I'm hopeful for some improvements. North has a new principal, so I'm curious to see how that's going to work out. I see they got a new phone policy going on at North.
Yeah.
But it's not just at North. My West Side got the same policy, and I realized a lot more high schools across the state got the same policy. So it's not just a North thing. I think other schools are trying to adapt to it and trying to make sure, like, overall students are getting educated and spending less times on their phone. Because I've walked through the schools, and all you see is kids just walking in the halls with their heads in their phones. You go in the classroom, all their heads in the phones. So it is a problem, and it has been a problem. So hopefully, with the policy that say at least during class time, you can't be on your phone. Maybe that might improve outcomes a little better. We'll see. But I think it can also potentially cause more disciplinary issues as well with some students as they get adjusted to it. So we'll see.
Mm. Yeah, that's definitely something I've been kind of wondering about, and your perspective as a senator and a parent. Yeah, I appreciate that input. If anybody else in the chat has any input about those, especially Marlon. Again, Marlon, we know that Marlon Harrison in the chat. We know you work closely with the youth, work in the schools. How has that been going? So far, how are youth responding to not having a phone, So definitely would love to speak about that from the chat. But other things as far as education, just in general. Um, Again, we've been talking about OPS. Actually, shout out to Sister Kimber Snipes who dropped the information on us about the graduation rates and suspension rates and things like that. Specifically, OPS. We know that again, you're a product of OPS is within your district. What are your hopes specifically about OPS as they move forward? Have you been talking to anybody on the board? Have you spoken to Superintendent Matt Ray? What are your anticipations?
No, I haven't spoken to anybody like too much about OPS. I know I got a meeting set up in September with Matt Ray and I think some other school board members to discuss where I'm at with OPS and where they're at and like how we could probably improve our relationship going forward. Because I just think people think I'm just always bashing OPS or I'm always like hard on them, which I think I'm supposed to be. I represent the district. I grew up in the district. mentor and coach kids in the district. I think I have to be, because I know what those outcomes are and what they have been, and I know what the results could be, which means jail, this new prison, or death. So I'm going to be hard, because if not, the system is going to continue to fail our kids. But I don't want to have to just keep going back and forth with them. I would hope that it could be a better relationship, to where we could engage, and I could be a better advocate with, or a partner with them in the legislature, to make sure that whatever I'm doing down there is helping them as well to improve the outcome for our kids. But anytime I feel like they ain't doing something right, I'm gonna speak up about it. That's just my job. But I want to have to always be in that position, because I would hope that they're doing better at their jobs as well. And if I'm doing something, I want them to tell me, "Hey, this ain't helping us," as well. So I'm cool with that.
Big time. Sister Kimmer Snipe in the chat asking who initiated that meeting.
I think somebody from the superintendent's office, or I think Jane Erdenberger. Somebody did, but they reached out. And,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Kind of, where are you with OPS? I know you mentioned kind of see if where y'all are. Just kind of how are you feeling about it right now? Just excited.
Right now, where I'm at with OPS is still the district that has failed the most Black kids in history in the state of Nebraska. OPS is still the district that educates the majority of kids from Black, brown, and other ethnic backgrounds. So for me, OPS has to be better, because in a legislature they look at OPS as like this big boogeyman that gets all this money but doesn't have good outcomes. The rest of the state is looking at OPS like, how do y'all get $300+ million every year when our rural schools don't get nothing, but we got better outcomes? And they look at it, but they miss the context of OPS deals with kids in poverty, kids that deal with all type of issues. They only looking at it from that lens. And sometimes I don't think OPS understands. Everybody doesn't look at it with context. They only look at it from a limited point of view. And that's what I be trying to get them to understand is, although you're right that it's more context in the numbers and what's going on, everybody is not viewing it that way, and you have to understand that, especially when you're dealing with the legislature, because if you're walking in blinded by that, your actions and your strategies are not going to be successful.
Man.
Yeah, it seems so obvious to me. The rural schools are smaller. There's probably the ratio to teachers to kids is smaller. That affects things.
Yeah.
So many things affected. Like, how can you compare the two?
No, I get it, but what I'm saying is the outside people they blinded by that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying, how can they think it's the same? Yeah, Trip. Kimmer in the chat is asking, what would you like to see from school board members regarding policy and the budget?
I would like to see school board members be more independent of the administration. I don't understand how the school board could tell senators that they can't talk to us. I don't understand how it's a school board, but it doesn't seem like the school board is independent of the administration. The school board should have its own, in my opinion, if I was on the school board, I would have my own opinion on policy. It wouldn't just be in step with the administration. It would be almost impossible.
So that's what's going on. They've been in step with the administration this whole time, like mostly.
Not all of them. I'm not gonna say all of them.
Yeah.
But when you talk to school board members, they'll tell you that they really ain't supposed to talk to you. They don't want them talking to us.
Why wouldn't when you say they, you talking about the administration?
Yeah. They got hired lobbyists, or they got like a designated person. But I would prefer, I would like the school, because if I was on the school board, they would probably hate me, because I would speak out about policy and wouldn't care about it because the people voted me in,
Right.
That
not
part.
the administration. They
That
can't
part.
take me off the board.
Right.
So to me, I feel like the board doesn't act as independent as they probably should.
Mm-hmm.
And that's
So,
something.
some of them, it's not everybody, but it's some. It's, I just feel like the board should be way more independent of the administration, and
No, that's a point I appreciate. That's something that we've learned really with the whole superintendent search. Like, really asking the question, so what does exactly the superintendent do? And who really has the power in this? And we are learning that the administration has way more power than we initially thought. Thinking the board was kind of the driving force behind that. But yeah, kind of, begs the question, what's really going down over there on Cumming Street? What's
no,
really happening?
OPS is kind of like the city of Omaha, where the mayor has. It's just like that, pretty much, where
Okay.
the mayor has most of the power. The superintendent seems like I don't think the school board exercises all its power, but I don't think the city council does either. So it's kind of like the same issue.
There you go.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I had a question, but did you want to jump into the chat real quick? Or?
I did, because I think that well, go ahead with your question, because I think brother Anthony Rogers' right question is going to be a little extensive. So go ahead.
Okay. Well, my question was in regards to the city board. You kind of mentioned the city council, and we were talking a little bit ago about the whole poverty elimination action plan, and you kind of mentioned how poverty really has an impact on education. The whole issue, and before we can really even dive, or not even before, but even if we do address what's going on in education and the whole situation in OPS is ideal, if students are still dealing with poverty at home, then it's still a struggle. So just kind of, can you speak to the poverty elimination action plan and what that's looking like?
So my whole thinking behind the poverty elimination action plan was, honestly, I was sitting at home one day and I was like, what are we doing on poverty? I honestly have never seen a plan put on for poverty put on a piece of paper, honestly speaking, in my lifetime. I've always heard we need to solve poverty. Poverty is a horrible issue that is never ending and never being solved or whatever. So I decided to bring the bill to do a poverty elimination action plan for all cities across the state to do a poverty elimination action plan. After I brought the bill, most of the western rural community municipalities was like, we don't want to do it because we can't afford it, or we can't staff somebody to do it. So even though I was like, whatever, if y'all don't want to do it, you know what? I'm not even about to fight y'all on this. Omaha was like, we don't care, we could do it, and Lincoln said the same thing. So I just limited it to Lincoln and Omaha, and it's like, all right, we'll start it in Lincoln and Omaha. It'll have to be done every 5 years, but they review it every 2 years to see what's going on. The plan, they have to do a needs assessment. There has to be community engagement, data analysis. They have to look at education and job training, healthcare access, I believe, economic development, transportation infrastructure, social services, equity and inclusion, accountability and evaluation, funding and resources, long-term sustainability, coordination and collaboration, public awareness, and they have to report that to the Urban Affairs Committee, just as they have to do with like the Affordable Housing Action Plan.
So pretty comprehensive, as you said earlier, Paul.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking about. I was just like, who? When you say let's make a poverty action plan, like where do you even start with that? So, what was your process for building that out? How did you? How long did it take you?
I was just doing some research and just trying to like just looking at some things like, what would you put into a poverty elimination action plan? And I was like, okay, what are the things that you should have? And I think you should be looking at a needs assessment. You should engage the community. There should be a data analysis. You should look at education and job training. You have to look at housing. You have to look at healthcare access, economic development, transportation and infrastructure is definitely a thing, especially in North Omaha. Social services, equity and inclusion is one, which is interesting. They didn't even bring this up in the legislature. They let me get away with an equity and inclusion bill. But
What think you get some pushback on that?
funding and resources, long-term sustainability, coordination, like all the, I think you have to look at all those points. I think it's comprehensive. So I mean, and I know a lot of people is like the city is doing it. I don't think the city is taking credit. I passed the bill. I passed the bill and I forced them to do it. So I don't care if they like. I know that whoever. I don't care who gets the credit. Honestly, I just think the plan needs to be done. And my thinking behind it is once they do it, it gives me a better blueprint to bring bills in the legislature because I have a better idea of what our community needs are. You know what I mean? It gives me a better blueprint to move off of. And it's evaluated every 2 years and updated every 5 years. So whoever's coming after me could look at the same thing as well.
Yeah.
Earlier in the chat, I believe Kimmerer said that it's going to start with an assessment, Human Rights and Relations Department. I'm wondering if she's talking about the same thing. Is that part of your plan that there's going to be an assessment by Human Rights and Relations Department first?
Yeah, well, they have to do a needs assessment. So they probably just tasked the Human Rights and Relations Department to do it. But yeah.
Okay. How do you feel about that particular department doing the study?
I mean, it's probably the best department in the city to do it since poverty elimination and human rights and relations kind of intersect. So,
okay. I'm more so thinking about the back end. Like, what is there in place to hold the city accountable of following through with this plan? Like, we've seen plans put together, we've seen studies come out, but what is there to kind of keep the city accountable?
well, the accountability is they have to evaluate it every 2 years and do an update every 5 years. So, in 2 years, you evaluate. Okay, y'all put this plan together. What progress have you made? Then in 5 years, okay, you did this, you did this plan. 5 years later, what progress have you made? So that's the accountability. It's like that 2 year piece and that 5 year piece to see if they actually are trying to attack it, and we'll see it.
Okay. And we do know I earlier mentioned that tomorrow there will be a hearing at 2 p.m. for public input on this. Will that be something that's ongoing? Like, will there be opportunity? Is it in the language of the bill for there to be some kind of public input, or is the assessment kind of that?
No, well, there has to be community engagement. They have to involve residents, community organizations, and stakeholders in the process. So, yeah.
Anthony Rogers right in the chat says, I think folk are concerned that it will suffer the same fate as the climate action plan. 35-minute storm proved that Omaha is not even close to prepare for the worst impacts of the climate crisis, which also includes increased poverty. That's an interesting comment.
And Anthony, I understand that. I think from what I would say from my perspective, my point of it is to get a plan in place. So from a legislative perspective, I could have a better idea of what bills to bring. The second piece to that is next year is city elections. Hold those city council people accountable to the plan. Say, you running for city council or the mayor's running for re-election, what are you going to do to address this poverty elimination action plan? I think we got to hold them accountable. Yes, I agree with you. If you just let them not do nothing, they're not going to do anything.
Right.
But there has to be some accountability there, especially with these city elections next year. We gotta push them on this, because I know it's not perfect, and I know it's not a perfect system where it's just they're gonna automatically just be willing to just start changing overnight.
Right.
It has to be some accountability. So I get that, and I understand that too. But from my perspective, I think it'll help guide me better on what bills to bring. But I think also from a city perspective, that means you should be able to push your city council people and the mayor when they especially like the budget when they're allocating dollars. Well, how could you allocate dollars this way when y'all just did this poverty elimination action plan and it's saying the needs are this? Your
Right.
budget ain't reflecting the needs. So
Man, that's you giving us some strong points to have to really that's the way to pay attention to this is to really run it through that for our own selves. Is the mayor addressing this, or these legislators, or the city? That's a great way to look at that. I'm actually going to write that down, because I think that's as I build this list of questions and assessments that I want to have for the elected officials in next year, like you're saying, that's definitely one of the criteria that I'm gonna have to I'm gonna put in a little list of things that I got to ask them about,
Man.
So yeah, that makes a lot of sense, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Matthew Miller Jenkins says perfection is the enemy of progress and also a staple of white supremacy. Accountability is a massive step in the right direction.
Yes,
I
yes.
appreciate that comment. I also appreciate the fact that you put things in place here, like the 2-year assessment, 5-year, in order to do that, to hold people accountable. And also this act that you had to push it to make it a law for them to do it. They weren't going to just do it, so now they're being made to do it, and now the part of this now is to hold them accountable to that law. So
Man, big time,
yeah.
big time. So yeah, actually, speaking of that, I do want to jump into the Inland Port Authority conversation, because it's right along with that same conversation. But I did want to acknowledge a question that Brother Anthony Rogers Wright had about the whole teacher situation.
Yeah, if we was going to
He-
jump back into that, there's a couple questions I want to get in there. Go ahead.
Yeah, he doubled back about the for teachers having the right to strike. He's asking. He says, "What about giving teachers the right to strike? Can we expect to see some legislation on that front? That teachers in this state can't strike says a lot about this state and the lack of workers' power. Will the senator consider a bill giving teachers the right to strike? What say you?"
yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be objective to it or like opposed to it. So I'm open to the conversation of bringing a bill to do it. I don't have an issue with it at all. Like, I'm not the guy that's hesitant to bring a bill that's going to stir up some conversation or some mess. I think we have to be bold and push the agenda, because what I've learned in the legislature is like a closed mouth don't get fed. Like, at least, and you just got to keep trying. So I mean, it's nothing I would be opposed to.
Would you try to help one up?
I wouldn't have a problem doing it.
That's what's up.
I don't know if teachers actually like me, but
I
can say conversation for another day. But it is, I would do it just because I believe in that. But it is what it is.
I'll tell you from our experience, the teachers that we talked to that were real quiet about conditions because they were fearing backlash. Didn't want to lose their jobs. They would love a little bit of power to be able to do something like strike. I'm quite sure, without fear, with fear of retaliation. So might be a bill to look into for sure. Anthony Rogers Wright says the three red states got the best reforms in generation because of teacher strikes. We should be able to do the same here. So yeah,
standing on the power of the strike.
Love that. Whitney Richardson in the chat. Good morning. I appreciate you coming on in. Says, I think it's pretty brilliant to put the data all on paper to try to set some accountability on poverty. You don't see people talking about poverty enough.
Nope.
Going back to your poverty bill. So shout out to you got the cosign there from Miss Richardson, which is really cool. Like I said, man, I'm really impressed by the fact that that you even knew how to jump in there and tackle this issue and really kind of put a plan together. That is a plan if they follow. And if we help follow by holding them accountable, can actually work. So I think it's pretty brilliant.
Yeah.
Also, going back to that teacher strike bill, I believe Benjamin Miller Jenkins is saying, so if the bill was drafted, would you support it?
There you go.
There
you go.
Let's do it.
Okay. So yeah, I do want to pivot into this next thing, talking about the Inland Port Authority, because it goes right along with all of those conversations. Again, to my understanding, the whole idea behind that is to address poverty, and if you address poverty, that's going to help kids, care a little bit more about school. So it's going to help in the education, but in many other areas. And of course, the news is reporting that the community advisory committee application is open. There's some questions about how that process works. One being who kind of decides, like once these applications goes in, who goes through them, who makes the decision, who is kind of being the ones in charge of selecting this committee.
The board is not the mayor's office.
Okay. Okay.
The Inland Port Authority is independent of the mayor's office. Like the only person that's connected to the mayor's office that's on the board is Tom Warren. But outside of that, the Inland Port Authority is independent of the mayor's office.
And if remind us who else is on the board. I know you mentioned you're the chair. I believe Carmen Tapio is on it. You just said Warren.
E.L. Phillips, Mike Reedman, Mike Helgerson, Brooke Aiken, Jake Hoppy, Ernest White.
Okay.
That might be it.
Okay. So it's a pretty extensive
board.
A lot of Jakes. Yeah, couple mics. Just personally, how are you feeling about the makeup of the board?
I mean, so far it's cool. So far everybody's been cool. The first meeting went okay. I was, glad to see the conversation went the way it went the first meeting, and since then everybody's been cool, and so I think so far so good. So we'll see. I think it's been straight.
We talked about this a little earlier. What's the power do you think this committee has?
So the power that the committee has, and I know people think community advisory boards don't have power. What I would say is, with the city council person on the community advisory board and a person that's going to be a state senator that's not myself on a board, that's power in itself. But also anybody that gets resources has to go to every community advisory board meeting. Like if OEDCDM gets the grant or a letter of support to get the money, they have to go to every community advisory board meeting. If they miss a meeting, that means they're potentially disqualified from getting the money. If you read the bill.
Wow.
So, I mean, you could say it's limited, but the fact that those people have to go to those meetings, have to engage with those people, to me, that's power. Because let's say they get the dollars and mess up, they gotta go to those meetings and listen to those concerns. They gotta keep going. They gotta keep engaging with those people. They can't mess up and just run away from it. They gotta show up because they still want to get the money to finish the project, or especially if they're being greedy, they want to get the money to be greedy. So they got to engage with those people. So it's not a perfect system. I would never sit here and say that, but the fact that whoever is getting dollars have to engage with the community, I think that's a win for the community. Like they can't run away from the community as much as they want to.
Man.
So this is kind of the closest thing to having some power. You had to kind of play chess with that one. I see the power lies in the fact that there's lawmakers on this committee. So there's influence that this can happen on a level that's not direct, and then also just the influence that you will have over the people that are getting the contracts and how they have to come talk to you. And so that those are the things I'm looking at, and probably more things that I'm not even seeing that can influence that is the power of the committee, where the direct power of the committee that people that we were talking about earlier isn't there. It's an indirect power, but it seems like it might even be a greater power just because of those factors that you mentioned in there. So
yeah. From what it sounds like is actually more of a direct power. I'm just kind of thinking this how this whole process works once this entity is in place, once the community board or the community advisory committee is put together. As far as just moving forward, the funds that come into this thing, is it like how does that work? When funds come into the state, funds come into the city, how does the board? Is it just projects that fall within the jurisdiction, or how exactly does that work?
The funds go directly to the port. They don't go through the city.
Okay.
Independent of the city.
Right.
Then, so the money with the airport park goes to it's under the oversight of the Port Authority.
Okay.
The money for the innovation district is under the oversight of the Port Authority, so it all goes through the Port Authority. The money from the interest that's coming from the Economic Recovery Act stuff goes through the Port Authority, so they'll have to put out grants as well.
Mm.
So it's all going through the Port Authority. It's not going through the city.
Interesting.
So there'll be a grant process that it has to go through.
It will not be the same as that horrible.
Okay.
I'm not mentioning the grant process.
But there will be
bring that up.
But there will be a grant process. Is that correct?
Well, the Port Authority is in charge of developing the area, so there'll have to be a process to utilize the dollars.
Mm-hmm.
What it'll look like exactly right now, I can't say definitively, but there will be a process for different developmental projects in the area. So yeah,
and that's for the board to put together right now. That's not necessarily addressed in the legislation.
Yeah.
Good information. Appreciate that very much. I'm actually kind of excited about that, hearing this now. 8:38 right now. If you believe in the concept of time, if you're just joining us, we're here with Senator Terrell McKinney, who's graciously given us some time in his morning to come and update us on some things. Remember, he is running for Legislative District 11. 11, right? I'll be getting my numbers mixed up, bro.
11.
My bad. I'm getting my numbers mixed up. But yeah, you definitely got to get down with him. And remember, it's voting season is coming up. He's reminding us to vote November 5th coming up. So you can't just assume that he's getting in there. You got to actually go down and take some action here. I mean, he's a show-in, of course, but we definitely got to go do the action, make it happen. Re-elect Terrell McKinney, Legislative District 11. How's the campaign going?
I mean, everything's been cool. It's kind of been different, just a different pivot now that Senator Chambers got out the race and back in special session. So it all happened at like the same time. So it's been a little weird, I still plan to do things because I still think, getting voter turnout in North Omaha is just super important, not only for myself, not only for the presidential race either, it's for those other races. We still got school board races. We still got other legislative races. We still got other important races going on that people should be getting out to vote. And when I tell people, I'm not the person that's going to say, just go vote to vote. I'm not the person that's going to tell you to just go vote or die. I'm not that dude. I'm not the dude that's going to tell you to go vote because your ancestors died for it. I'm not him. What I try to tell people is just to talk about the why you should be voting. Like when I tell people why to vote, I say, like, especially my guys, I'm like, man, this is why I tell you should vote or be registered to vote. If enough of us are registered to vote, potentially, if y'all in the streets, you'll have a jury of your peers, bro. Stuff like that. When you register to vote, or we are voting, we don't have Don Klein as the county attorney.
Ooh.
We don't got these. You
hit them close to home with it.
Like, this is why we should be voting. It's stuff like that, bro. Like, I'm not the dude that's gonna scapegoat people or anything like that. But the stuff that's important to people is what we got to talk about. Why you should be voting is, especially city council races next year. You should be voting for city council because you need people in city council that are going to vote for a budget that prioritizes the people over the police.
Yep.
Like, we need to talk about those type of things and why people should be voting. We shouldn't be trying to scapegoat people into voting because of the civil rights movement and those type of things. Yes, those things happen, are important, but that also ignores the years of like mistrust and a total disconnection that our community has with the whole process, from years of people lying, our community saying, vote for us, we're gonna change everything, it's gonna look great, we're gonna make sure the hood is taken care of, and then 4 years later the hood is still looking the same.
Pretty much.
Man, you resonate.
We got to talk about the why people should be voting. Like, why you should vote is to get camera on the school board because you need more school board members that care about the community and the kids to hold the district accountable. That's why you should be voting. Like that's what we got to talk about. We need Clarice on the Regional Transit Authority because we need people from the community that care about transit and that are going to think about the things that those developers ain't going to think about.
Man.
Genius, man. You resonate with us in a big way. Like I'm not even into politics. So the reason why I even talk about it here is because of me understanding like how closely related things that have to do with my personal life and my family's life are being decided for me.
Man.
And that's the major reason I'm even doing what I'm doing here. So that resonates completely, man. You know, it's one thing to draw on people's feeling of responsibility our ancestors did and so on and so forth. That's one way. But this is a much more poignant way in order for us to engage and understand why we need to engage. You know, and being as you know, you're in the community, you talk to folks, you know what some of their issues are, some of their problems are. Personally, you're thinking about what's happening in your own family, my own family. You know, we're thinking, man, what could change that? Well, this thing is getting ready to happen. If we voted this person in, they can change it, or they would change it, and create that list of those questions that you're gonna ask them, or how you gonna swing on this issue, on that issue, because it's really all about the issues. So
yeah.
So I'm glad that I'm learning what I'm learning and formulating those questions, and I can judge the people that I'm trying to bring in and out off of that evaluation. So I really appreciate you saying that. That's huge.
Yeah. Shout out to Sister Kimra. She kind of gave us a language for that as well. Issue-based organizing.
Boom.
Yeah, big time.
Anthony Rogers, right? Real quick. Municipal, PSC, and county commissioners are the three seats that impact your everyday lives. It's also up to the political party machines to do as much for local elections as they do for federal elections. The GOP operates bottoms up. The Dems operate top down.
He says that is a major problem.
It's been a problem. It's been a major problem. So yeah, we're gonna keep on resonating with you on this particular subject as well. So we really appreciate you coming in and talking about those individual things that are happening that we need to be taking note of and holding people accountable to, and that's the reason why. So I'm definitely down for the get out the vote message based on the criteria you're talking about. That makes perfect sense to me.
Yeah, man. So you have any campaign events coming up or anything coming up we should look out for?
No, I'm planning something like another like people power session, but I want to like try to invite other like candidates that's running in North Omaha to come as well.
Okay.
To get people to engage with people. So I'm working on something like that. Because I don't think the other issue with elections and turnout is people don't know who's running all the time. And I think I want to do as much as I can to make sure that the people know who's running in our community and why they should be voting for them or why they shouldn't be voting for them. So
also not just the people. I think you might have posted about this, but making sure that voters are aware of ballot initiatives as well. Is there any conversation or any plans to spread that information?
Yeah, I want to talk about those too. That at the like the session I plan. I don't know when exactly it's gonna be. It'll probably be in September. I want to do it in August, but because of this ever changing special session and we don't even know when we're gonna be done. It's just a mess. I mean, hopefully this week, but we don't know. And then I don't know, man. It's just they keep delaying days and they don't got it written.
Speaking of that, we are running short on time, but are you planning to going down to Lincoln today? It's reported that the debates are supposed to kick back up today. I see you look like you at the house right now.
Well, we're not supposed to check in until 1:00, but from everything I heard, there is no bill. So we're not debating anything. There is nothing to debate. We're just checking in and coming back to Omaha.
Okay. Well, let us know if you need any DJing for your events coming up. I'm gonna come out of retirement and dust off my Tupac records. I'm ready for you. So let us know. And just anytime that we can support any of the events and the stuff that you do, really appreciate that very much.
Big time.
Yeah, man, we're all the way behind you on all of it. Kimra says one thing for sure. She says I'm learning a lot today, and thank you for clarifying a lot of information. So
that's what we're here to do.
My sentiments exactly, bro. Yeah. Appreciate you, man.
Yep. Thank you.
We'll talk to you
Thank
soon.
you.
Have a good one. Thanks for coming through.
Peace.
Peace. All right, we'll take a quick break. Shout out to Brother McKinney, man, for coming on through like he does and dropping the knowledge.
Man.
Always dropping the knowledge. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. First Guy Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Yo. Yo. Welcome back. Listening to First Guy Omaha Radio, First Guy Omaha in the morning. Buddy had to take a run real quick and take care of a little business, and so he'll be right back. But just wanted to come back in. Just want to thank everybody who joined in and was commenting here and had great questions. I definitely learned a lot from the senator right now about a few things. I can't wait to go back and check this out. You too can do that. You can go back and check the show out in its entirety, especially on YouTube. Do us a favor, share the show, and let people know that it's there. And so we can kind of build up our audience there on YouTube. And also like and subscribe. You can go over there if you haven't done that already. I really appreciate everybody who's joined in on that. Earlier today, we were talking a little bit about whether or not everybody saw the Olympics. There was a lot said around this the situation with the breakdancing in the Olympics. So you guys I kind of went back through the comments and was looking at some things, was kind of cracking up about it. So appreciate you helping me to get a little bit more lighthearted about the situation and to remember the important things about the culture and how the culture, one of the beautiful things about breaking culture in the first place was how, a lot of the cultures mixed and put it together, man, especially Latino and Black culture. And, was proud to see it go worldwide in the 90s. And, there was great potential for this here. So it wasn't all bad. I can't, it's lots to it, but if you have any more comments about that, I'd love to hear about that. Also, I posted something on my personal page about it, and there was a big discussion there, so I'd love to hear about that. I just also want to remind everybody too, man, we got a new newsletter that just dropped Friday. It's called the Weekly Wrap. If you hit us with your email address, then we'll send that out to you weekly. You can send that to firstguyomaha@gmail.com. We can get it there, and also have a link. Let me see if I can find this link real quick. I'll put this link in the chat, and then if you want to hit that link, it'll make it easy for you to just go ahead and throw in your email address and start getting that. Buddy, like Buddy was saying earlier, there's advertising opportunities there. There's opportunities to highlight your business and our partners' businesses. We're doing some highlights there as well. So there's a lot that's going on there, and of course, the newsletter is also a way for you to kind of catch up with what it is that we have going on too here at First Guy Omaha and the progression there, and just more opportunity to discuss, more discussion. Right now we're going live on Mondays and Wednesdays, and we're not going live on Friday anymore, but that's because we're dropping a few more items like this newsletter. But there is where discussion can happen. Also, Friends of First Guy Omaha, the group page on Facebook, that's where a lot of discussion happens when we're not live. And also, we're starting up, we're trying to fire up a little bit of the community page on the YouTube channel, which is built for the same kind of reason. I kind of like the fact that it's over there because we can also continue conversations there if ever we need to kind of let go of what Facebook got going on. So we'll see. Kimber saying, Terrell got me up here ideating. I just got off the phone with the League of Women Voters. She jumped into action already over this information. So appreciate that very much. Appreciate Senator McKinney coming through. I always think we're going to get some updates on some things, and sometimes we be learning something new and seeing stuff in a whole new context. So appreciate everybody that is is also understanding that as well, that we just got hit by some real info. A couple little haps that are going on too. Friends of First Sky Omaha and Chat Chimer. Leia is also put this flyer out on Friends of First Sky Omaha. Swing Left Nebraska is they're having another podcast. This is available anytime, any place you get your podcast. They really help kind of unpack the unicameral. One thing when I describe what this show is to people, I describe it as kind of a little bit of a civics lesson. The fact that we have the senators on teaching us what's going on in our very specific legislature, which is, we kind of have a very unique unicameral situation going on here, and it takes a little bit of deciphering. So this is another way you can learn more about it. Definitely check this out on wherever you get your podcast. Swing Left Nebraska podcast. They got week 3 going on, and they're talking about the special session over there. So if you want even more information about what's happening there, a little bit of a deep dive beyond what the senators are letting us know, definitely check that out, and check it out regularly anyway if you're into those kinds of politics. So appreciate that very much. She said, Senator McKinney, put some respect on his name. Heard that. Appreciate that very much. I did not hear from Senator Wayne today, so the questions that you have for him we'll save for another time. You never know what with school starting back up. What's going on with the kids getting dropped off and so on. Might have to adjust some times so everybody can make it. So we'll see. So yeah, that's really kind of about it. If you have any haps, let us know. Put those in the chat as well, and also put them in Friends of First Sky Omaha. I know something's coming up here that I've been anticipating. This Habitat for Humanity home ownership program update is coming up in September. I'm kind of marking this on the calendar already, just to learn more about what's happening now. We also got some more things coming up with the land bank coming up, but this Habitat for Humanity home ownership program is happening. It's reopened on September 9th. 2024 at 10 a.m. Let's see, September 9th, applications can be picked up between 10 and 4 during these days, only at the Habitat Forsyth Administration Office, located at 1023 West 14th. Winston. Oh, wait a minute. We in the wrong situation here. This is something else. My bad. This is not the home ownership program that we got going on here in Omaha. So I have to go find that flyer and talk about that too. But Habitat's got something going on here in Omaha as well. We'll get some more information on that and bring it to your attention as well. Also earlier, Buddi was asking about if anybody went to this meeting here. We haven't heard yet if anybody went to this urgent Omaha Housing Authority meeting, all tenants meeting that just happened yesterday, August 11th. Let us know if you went to this and give us any firsthand information there on that. Shout out to Sherman Wells, Untamed. Shout out to Cheryl Weston, Dr. Cheryl Weston. Also Hassani Lee, who's heading up the Underwood Tenants Group that we've been trying to raise some funds for as well. Speaking of which, if you we still got some of the public housing Fight the Tower shirts. Part of the proceeds going to Hassani Lee, the organization Hassani Lee is heading up, called the Underwood Tenants Group. That is not just for the Underwood Tower people, but it's for all the towers. It's for everybody who is in a property of OHA, and really everybody who's a tenant that wants to learn more about their rights and band together so they can fight for the rights. So if you're interested in purchasing one of these shirts, hit us up at firstskyOmaha@gmail.com. We got a website coming soon where we'll have links to these things, but right now we're doing it through the web, through the email address. So go ahead and hit us up there. And also a collaboration we have with Sky Ree is happening as well. The First Sky Omaha First Sky shirt with Sky Ree. Part of the proceeds of this also go to the Underwood Tenants Group. So if you would like versions of these shirts as well, hit us up, firstskyOmaha@gmail.com. Appreciate that very much. And yeah, that's what's up. Mark, you said he's handling something right now, but he wants to know, did anyone in the juvenile justice, did anybody go to the juvenile justice forum as well? We know that just happened last week too. So juvenile justice forum happened. Did anybody go to that? What was that? Give us some information on those things. We really, really, really want to hear about whether or not you were able to make that. That was they had 3 different ones, and I think the last one was on the 10th. So yeah, what was the plan? What's the plan for our youth? According to the juvenile justice plan situation too. Anybody go there? Love to hear about it. Anthony Rogers right in the chat. He's saying people really need to check out this piece on the Louisville Tenant Union. They're doing big things, and no reason why we can't have the same in Omaha. I love that. Always are bringing to our attention some things here. Here's a link in the chat. definitely check this article out in the New York Times, and we can kind of see what's going on there. One of our tenants here at First Sky Omaha is solutions journalism, and part of that is if we got a problem here, who else had the same kind of problem? What did they do to solve that problem in other places? And can we utilize some of those tactics to battle it here? So I appreciate Anthony Rogers Wright. Appreciate you very much for being on that tip with us, giving us an example of what somebody can do elsewhere. Somebody has done that worked, and definitely check it out so we can maybe implement some of those things here. So we got a lot more to talk about when it comes to space. Space is the place out here. What are we doing about housing? What are we doing about our homeless situation here? What are we doing about tenants' rights? This is going to be an ongoing subject with First Sky Omaha for sure, because we're based here, Omaha. These are our neighborhoods that we're trying to service. This is a hyper local situation that we've built here so that we can kind of really talk about what affects us in our lives. And housing is one of the most important things. One of the biggest things there is how do we relate to being in the space here in Omaha? Where is our ability to thrive here because of our housing situation? Can we have some ownership? What rights do renters have? All these things are going to be ongoing, and there's programs that are happening all the time too. We really need to kind of keep track of and pay attention to. So that'll be an ongoing subject. We appreciate everybody who is coming on in and deciding that's what's up, deciding that they can help the situation out and pay attention to it and figure out some solutions, and especially if there's solutions from other places. I'm looking at what's going on here as far as this family is concerned. Oh, that's the wrong one. That's that wild look that Senator Wayne can give somebody. This family right here actually lost their home. So there's a GoFundMe for them, and I clicked on it this morning and saw that it's still going on. So they are probably still really needing some help here. I'll put the GoFundMe in the chat. But this family lost their home after a fire broke out in their home after the power was turned back on last week, and they lost everything. So there's a GoFundMe that was put in place here, and we still want to help them out. As long as that GoFundMe is up, we can. They need that. Haven't reached the goal yet. We can definitely help them out by doing that. So there you go, and I appreciate that very much. Looks like Buddy's back. So hey, everything cool, everything handled.
Yeah. Thanks for holding it down.
Yeah.
So a lot of good conversation. Thank y'all for the comments. I did want to add to that situation about the storms. There's still more information coming out about people still reeling, man, still dealing with it. Actually, Omaha World Herald reported that the debris cleanup might take a little longer than initially anticipated. A headline reads that debris could actually take up to 3 weeks or longer. So they could be dealing with that for up to the next month or the foreseeable future at least. So if you are, or anyone, is dealing with down trees in the yard, it could be sitting on a power line, it could be sitting on a house, it could be sitting on the gate, just, inconveniencing your day-to-day life. So again, looking out for that, keeping an eye on that situation. And then also something that's important to what we do as far as Cox internet goes. Apparently there's been also some issues with Cox customers getting their service turned back on. And KETV is reporting that apparently Cox is working around the clock to get that going. But it says it's a week and 2 days now that people's internet has been out. And they actually even have workers from out of state working around the clock to get that going. So if you are a Cox customer struggling to get your internet back on, apparently they're on it. They're working on it.
There you go. 9 o'clock. If you believe in the concept of time, we're going to go ahead and get out of here. We appreciate you guys joining us today. Join us Wednesday. We got another special guest coming on Wednesday. I haven't confirmed yet, so I'll leave that as a mystery until we get some confirmation, and then we'll put that up. Be looking for that on First Sky Omaha, the Facebook page, and Friends of First Sky Omaha Facebook page as well. And we'll be putting that out there. And again, I just want to remind everybody, please go ahead and shoot us your email address and sign up for the new newsletter, the weekend wrap, the weekly wrap. Yeah, so we can fight this algorithm, man. We're trying to expand the news here. We're trying to expand the audience. Facebook throttles that. YouTube is moving slow. So we're definitely understanding the power in being able to speak directly. And I surveyed a lot of people that said that this is what they do too, man. They check out they got a set of set of newsletters that come through that they're all about. So we hope that you go ahead and send that your email address to firstsky@gmail.com, and we'll sign you up for that.
Yeah, and for those who don't really understand when we say fight the algorithm, although Facebook, YouTube, these platforms are where the most people are, and kind of the best way to reach large groups of people. These companies also figured out that these you don't pay to use Facebook, you don't pay to use YouTube, you don't pay to use Instagram. So they make their money from advertising, which means that your content isn't really going to get out there to all 2,000, 1,000, 5,000 followers that you have on your social media, unless you're paying for advertising.
That's right.
So
Yeah.
we try to go around that by going directly to your emails. So again, please help us by tapping in. Thank you, Whitney. Richardson in the chat says, yes, I love the newsletter. Thank you.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thanks for joining us today. Like I said, we're going to get out of here. We'll join us again live on Wednesday. Also wanted to make sure that we gave a rest in peace to the two brothers that passed away this weekend.
Man.
Marcus L. Johnson, he was 28. Charles A. Williams Jr., he was 27. They were gunned down in front of a concert. And there's a lot of discussion going around on Friends of First Sky Omaha and other places about this because it seems this kind of senseless violence happened, and then people kind of went and partied afterwards, and people got something to say about that. Check out Brother Kasim's page, the Black Agenda Alliance. Check out his personal page. He had some things he had to say, and we'll be in discussion about this more when we get with you again on Wednesday.
Yeah, man.
And a few other things too. But yeah, this is hitting close to home here in Omaha, and just we wanted to make sure that we acknowledge that, and prayers go out to the family there. With that, in the meantime, between time, let's go ahead and get out of here. Buddy, you got some words for the people?
Yeah, of course, big shout out to Senator Terrell McKinney. Put some respect on his name for coming through and taking the time out of his schedule to come speak with us. We appreciate that. Always dropping some gems, always giving us a pretty good education on what's going on, not just in the state, but, in North Omaha and his district. So, again, big shout out to Senator Terrell McKinney. Also, big shout out to all of you, the chat chimers. The chat's still going off. Although we've dropped down to 2 days a week, still feeling the support, still enjoy and appreciate everybody tuning in with us, staying on top of what it is that we have going on. And, we'll continue to do it. So hopefully we'll continue to receive your support in all things that we do. And yeah, man, again, if you haven't already, check us out on the newsletter, hit us up on Facebook, and also please like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell on YouTube. As Paul mentioned earlier, we are trying to pivot to the YouTube community. There's a few just other details and elements and just tools that we can use, and that we're very excited about. So again, help us help you, and meet us over on YouTube. In the meantime, between time, catch the same time, same place here on Wednesday as we again prepare for our next guest and prepare for more conversation with you. So again, we appreciate you, we love you, we thank you. In the meantime, between time, Paul B.
Yo.
Take it away, man.
Right now, we go get out of here. I see Brother Pena in the chat. He said he came in and said, good morning and goodbye. Hotel cleaning, missed my show. We'll see it again today. Appreciate that.
Okay.
You can always go back and watch it in its entirety on First Sky Omaha. So appreciate it very much.
Yeah, man.
Gwen Easters is talking about the brother that passed away. Charles was my best friend's cousin. Thank you all for praying for the families involved.
Definitely.
Again, rest in peace to the two brothers that lost their life this weekend for sure. So shout out to the Omaha tribe elders for allowing us to be on this land and speak while we're here. Shout out to our elders for allowing us to speak before you, and shout out to you, the chat chimers, allowing us to speak with you on all these subjects and figuring out exactly what is news for us in our neighborhoods, and working and having that conversation and controlling our own narrative. We appreciate it. Thank you for everybody who is the a reoccurring member of the channel as well. The $10 people, the $25 people, the $50 people. I gotta say, this is it's been growing, and I appreciate it because this is how we'll sustain this. We're in constant try to raise funds every month, and we're always in threat of not being able to keep doing it, to be honest, because of the fact that we got to make a living while we're trying to do what we're doing. But your support helps us keep this going, and we really appreciate that. New website dropping soon. Definitely check that out. And I just want to keep encouraging everybody to make sure you keep your moves up, make sure that you get down, make sure that you get down with what you got to do. Make sure that you rep the kangaroo. Make sure you really got it. And most of all, make sure that you got the attitude to really rep the culture and make it happen. So shout out to this breakdancer at the Olympics here that reminded us of all those things. And I hope that in the future, you know, I can be as good as that. I can do as well as that. I can reach the Olympics with my moves. I really, and the goal for all of us is to reach the Olympics with what it is that we're doing. So we appreciate it. Now that is over, I will say about the Olympics though, shout out to Snoop Dogg, man, for holding it down.
Oh yeah,
That made me proud. Made me proud. Man, Jamila Jenkins is in the chat says, I love the show, love the vibes. Always look forward to starting my day with you, brothers. Appreciate that very much.
Thank you.
We definitely look forward to starting our day with you all. So thank you very much. Really appreciate it. We're going to get out of here. You guys take care of yourselves. We'll see you Wednesday. Peace.
By the way, this is protected by the red